good evening. You guys know the drill. I'm a retired New York City police detective, and if you like all things true crime related from that police detective's perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Hey, today I want to talk to you about the crime scene at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. There's been a lot of talk lately about the demolition that's going to happen with the University of Idaho having ownership of the property. And I received a tremendous amount of inquiries and emails on DutyRon.com. Hi, J-Dubs. Hello, Jeff. Good to see you. So I received a tremendous amount of inquiries in regards to the demolition of 1122 King Road. And they're talking about within the next 2 weeks of taking that building down, that residence down. But before I get into that, I want to say a special thank you to you, the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all the folks who positively engage here. You guys are what makes it a great place, and I give thanks and praise to you guys. Hi, Linda from the UK, Candy E. Good to see you, Cammy. Thank you for joining. Ashley and friends, thank you for all coming in. Girl, Friday Films, hello from Spain. Good to see you, UK, joining. So, as far as accomplices, there's no accomplices as far as the prosecution is concerned. Numero uno, one suspect, one perpetrator, Bryan Kohberger, innocent until proven guilty, and they're going to go ahead with this case. But the thing of it is, until the trial starts, everybody's worried. And by a show of hands here in the chat, let me know if you're worried about the demolition of that property and the jury not being able to go out there to see 1122 King Road with their own eyes themselves. Look at the Murdoch trial. The jury wants to go out to the kennel and see the location where Paul and Maggie Murdoch were murdered. They want to get out there. Hi, Kim. Good to see you. MT Game Calls. Thank you for joining. Hey, Lieutenant Pete Pranzo. That means if Lieutenant Pete is here, that means Inspector Richella Pranzo is on deck. So that's the problem, is that people are really upset and they're worried that what if the jury wants to go out there and see that location? And as I said the other night, I'm 100% certain that the defense and the prosecution and even the judge that's going to be overseeing this case, they're all on board and talking amongst each other before they allow that building to be demoed. As you guys can recall, on December 30th, 2022, the defense ceased the crime scene cleanup. Now, we know from news reports that the crime scene cleanup company kind of remedial something. I forgot the exact terminology. Thomas, thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. So we know that the crime scene cleanup company already came in. That's an empty home. There's nothing in that house. But, Richella, thank you. But we heard from Luke Hall. He is the representative from Faro Industries. That's the Faro 3D laser scanner. We know for a fact that 3D laser scanning was done at this location. Joey Brooklyn, good to see you. So there is a high definition video, pictures, and walkthrough. The jury is going to be able to, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 6 months from now, 2 weeks from now, whenever the time is, the jury is going to be able to and they're going to be able to walk in with the way the crime scene was set up when first responders responded and found these 4 victims. They're going to be able to see the crime scene in its state that it was, and they're actually going to be able to walk right up to these deceased victims and see them in real life. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have ever witnessed VR in 4K, but if you have ever experienced virtual reality goggles in 4K. And if you haven't, then hold your judgment until you look at this, because it is so frighteningly real that you can get straight up onto any crime scene, not just this 112 King Road crime scene, but the 3D laser scanning technology is so unbelievable that I am going to have Luke Hall, the representative, the Northeast representative from Faro Technologies. He's going to come on with me Friday night for Forensics Friday, and we are going to do a virtual 3D walkthrough. I already talked to him today, and we are going to demonstrate for all of you. Don, good to see you. Hello, Matty Boy Sully, good to see you. We're going to walk through on Forensic Friday the exact way that not just these jurors for the Idaho murder of the Bryan Kohberger case with the Idaho 4 murders, any jury has this technology available to them to see this. So we're going to walk through it on Friday night forensics. You're not going to want to miss this one, because I asked Luke to get a case, obviously a case that is no longer being tried, and we are going to walk through a crime scene, and you guys are going to see what this thing looks like. And it's not really going to be, you're not going to get the full effect of it, because if you're not wearing those 3D virtual reality goggles, it's not the same, but you're going to get to see the high quality and the high definition. Good to see you, Tony from EquiSearch. Lost is not alone. Good to see you, my brother. I wanted to also talk to you guys. Did anybody hear about the Republican representative that put a bill forward for the state of Idaho to reinstitute a firing squad? Now, this came out a couple of days ago, but there is a bill that's waiting to be passed in Idaho, as opposed to the lethal injection, which is quite troublesome for death penalty cases. They're talking about bringing back a firing squad in the state of Idaho. So there's legislation on the books to reinstitute death by firing squad. Let me know what you think in the comments here, comments down below if you're a replay viewer. Let me know what you think of that. Deco Paint and Tea, good to see you. Aga T, thank you for being here. Bobby said, I heard about it. Michelina Sereno, good to see you. Candy E. Gail Kelly says, hello, Mr. Ron, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Barbara George, she said, I heard of that. Interesting, right? So I'm going to follow that closely, and we'll see what happens with that. Nikki Bella, always great to see you. We had a little bit of snow, so I got my Blue Line wool hat on. I think I look kind of ridiculous with a hat on, but Brent Montgomery, good to see you. Thank you for the emails that you send me. Little Dove, good to see you too. Brent Montgomery, thank you for your continual emails that you send on all these different cases. So, yeah, the chemical, the concoction that they need for the lethal injection, the manufacturers, they're just so sick and tired of, I guess, getting sued and whatnot. So it's kind of hard for them to get it. Lexi, good to see you. Thank you for joining. There's a couple of other things I want to talk to you about. Everybody is obviously following the Alex Murdoch case. The defense and the prosecutors are going back and forth with crime scene unit experts. Ed Wallace is in India. He's doing training in India, but every moment or is available to talk with us. He has a lot to say about the murders of Paul Murdoch and Maggie Murdoch, and all of this crime scene evidence experts that you're hearing hired by the defense and also the prosecutor. This is what Ed does. This is what he lives for. Thank you, Agati. Thank you. Ed lives for this stuff, and he knows all about this, trajectories and blood spatter. He knows all about this stuff. So when he's on stable ground where he can get an internet connection, it's kind of rough where he is in India, and he is kind of busy, doing all of his army training, so to speak. But Ed's going to chime in on that, and I know that a lot of you guys, I mean, it's going on right now. This trial is starting to wrap up, but right now, as we speak, there's hundreds of thousands and millions of people watching the defense and the prosecutors go back and forth and talking to all of the expert witnesses. But crime scene and evidence preservation and evidence collection, that's Ed Wallace's. That's Ed right up Ed Wallace's alley. Glowbug, good to see you. Debbie Keeler, thank you for joining. Hi, Sweet Caroline. Mary Meadow, good to see you. Firing squad, that's nuts. So it takes a squad. Yeah, it's a whole firing squad, a whole bunch of people. What do you think of the firing squad? I think it's good. I think it's easy. I think it's quick. It's definitive. I'm not like jumping up and down as a cheerleader for any of this stuff, but if someone gets sentenced under the death penalty in a particular state, uh, as long as it can be done quickly and be over with fast, then I'm all for it. But I'm not going to be a cheerleader with pom poms jumping up and down. But it is what it is. And Tony, very good point. It's very cheap. It doesn't cost gazillions of dollars to get the chemical and do the lethal injection. So everybody's going to have mixed feelings. And listen, it is what it is. If they bring that back and it's put on the books, then it will be instituted. And there's a potential for everybody that's on death row to meet that fate, to meet that fate of a firing squad. But Deborah Keeler, it's all good whenever you can, and if you can't, just as long as you can continue to support. Guys and girls, we are so close to hitting that 160,000 subscriber mark. I can't tell you how thankful I am for each and every one of you that decide to hit the subscribe button. If you're not yet subscribed, please consider taking that 30-day challenge. Hit the subscribe button. If after 30 days you're not completely happy with what we're doing and the educational behind-the-scenes police detectives perspective that we provide with Ed Wallace, myself, and the experts that we call on, then you could simply unsubscribe. It's free. There's no restocking and handling fees. There's no upcharges. So just give it a try. Give us that 30-day try. Let's get to 160,000 subscribers. And you know what? Engaging subscribers like yourself and friends, that's what I look forward to. I want engaging subscribers, and you guys are more than engaging. So thank you for that. Miss Donna Marie, always great to see you. Thank you. And you know what? People have all these different feelings and thoughts. But I wanted to segue into my third topic of discussion here today. Is little baby Michael Valva. He was murdered by his father, who was at the time a New York City transit police officer. In early 2020, he was murdered by his father and his step monster, Angela Polina and Michael Valva. Michael Valva has already been tried and sentenced to 25 years to life, and he's upstate in a New York prison. But yesterday, the second piece of the trial has kicked off. His step monster, who is equally as guilty of murdering baby Thomas Valva by hypothermia, letting him freeze in a garage in Long Island in January of 2020. The trial commenced yesterday, and Angela Polina is going with the defense that Michael Valva was the disciplinarian, and it's the exact opposite. She was equally as involved in the disciplinary process as Michael was. He went along with it. She went along with it. They're both, in my eyes, guilty of murdering the little baby Thomas Valva. And that trial kicked off yesterday. So I'm going to be covering that very closely. The prosecution and the defense opened up with their statements yesterday. Today is the second full day of this trial. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that justice will be served on Angela Polina as well. She's an evil, sick monster. The things that were done to these, not only just Thomas Valva, but his brother, Anthony, and Andrew, is now the only surviving of the three boys. And he has to live for the rest of his life knowing that, his brother, was frozen to death in the garage in a home that they all shared together for over 3 years. So it's really, really a horrible, horrible case. If you look here down below, I'll link some of my playlists on Thomas Valva. I actually attended the funeral out in Deer Park, I believe it was, in Long Island, and it was the most horrific, heart-wrenching thing that I had to do in recent past. And that it was devastating. Diane B., my neighbor, and I, we went to that funeral and saw little baby Thomas Valva in a white suit in a coffin, open casket. It was just horrifying, horrifying, horrifying. So be on the lookout for me covering that case. And we're going to see it through right to the end when the verdict is read for Angela Polina. Monsters, just total, total monsters. I want to show you some of the apparel that I'm wearing today. I'm going to tilt the camera down, and I have my police off the cuff sweatshirt on. I'm representing police off the cuff today at work. It was a snow day, so I put my police off the cuff sweatshirt on. So go on over there and check out their apparel and all that stuff. But this is a really comfy sweatshirt. I'm sporting the police off the cuff Bill Cannon sweatshirt. Yeah, Free Spirit says, I'm all for the firing squad. It's cheaper. Yeah, it is cheaper. There's no question about it. No question about it. Hey, listen, let me just get a quick roll call from those of you who are here. Quickly put in the comments your city, state, or country if you're outside the United States. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're new, just say new. Just say, hey, I'm new. I'd like to say hello to the new folks. Hello, Gary from Oklahoma. Blue Petunias, I love that screen name, Michigan. Hello, Carol from Scotland. I love the tattoo work. Bakersfield, California, says JoJo. Hello from Portland. Nice to see you. I got to slow it down. Moscow, Idaho, checking in. Ground zero for our Idaho 4. Thank you so much. Wow, the chat goes crazy. Dublin, Ireland, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Hello from Boston, Massachusetts. I got to go back because I feel like I missed too many of these. So let me go back and say hi to people. Nikki Bella, checking in from New York. Bakersfield, California. Jojo, hello from Idaho, Ohio. Scott Messerschmidt, Emporia, Kansas. Candy from Portland, Oregon. Hello from the Triad area. Patricia. Brent Montgomery's checking in. Holly Evans is in Los Angeles. Candy E from Pennsylvania. Rochella, Mount Sinai, Long Island. Blah, 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 Boston. Hello from Moscow, Idaho. Be kind. Good to see you, and my thoughts and prayers again to all of the great people of Moscow, Idaho. Gail Kelly is East Boston, Massachusetts. Tommy Robinson, London, UK. Hello from across the pond. Nana Patty, Oklahoma. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Kent, UK, says Kim Alliston. Thank you so much for being here. North Carolina, Paul Anderson. Hello, Catherine from Londonderry, New Hampshire. Mountain Game Calls, Great Falls, Montana. Pete Pranzo, of course, he's over in Mount Sinai. If he wasn't, Richella would be like, where are you? Honey, where are you? I could hear her saying that. Hello, Megan from Oregon, New Jersey, but moving back to Florida. Bell. Lexi, Hot Springs, Arkansas. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Dublin, Ireland in the house. Kathy, oh, for fuck's sake. How are you over there in Dublin, Ireland? I know I did that really bad. North Boston, Massachusetts. Joey Brooklyn, Long Island. We know he's there. Hello from Forest, Ontario, Canada, says Janine. Thank you for joining. Glad from North Carolina. Utah's in the house. J-Dubs. Agati is UK, Birmingham. Thank you. Hey, Dawn Marie's from Florida. We know where she is. I have a tracker on Dawn Marie. Roxy, good to see you. Thank you for being new. Thank you for joining. K-Dog from Canada. Thank you. Delaware in the house. Scotland. Oh, Carol, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. And they don't say the F word. They say fuck y'all. Good to see everybody. Thank you. South Africa's in the building. Wow. Everybody's all over. Long Island, New York. I didn't see a lot of new. And if you guys are new, please consider subscribing. Subscribing is free. If you want, just hit that subscribe button. Give the thumbs up on the video. It always helps the algorithm. When you guys give these videos thumbs up, and the comments that you leave are just so important. But here's my thing. I want to circle back to our content and what we're talking about today. Let me know what you think about Bryan Kohberger, um, the 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 University of Idaho, the building, the residence where the four young college students were murdered, was donated by the landowners, the people who own that property. Now, people ask me, DutyRon, do you think that they got money for it? Do you think the University of Idaho paid them? I think that I don't care. I think that my thoughts is I don't care what they got for it, whether they got nothing, whether they got a tax write-off, whether they gave it up because they realized that nothing good can come of that location. And in small locations like this, where it's a college town, there's college housing all over the place there. It's not like where we live in a major metropolitan where people are fighting for property and land and places to live and so forth. Yes, I know there's a housing shortage and things like that, but you have to respect the decisions. And I think that the University of Idaho, now that they got the ownership of that property, they're going to probably abide by what these victims' families asked them to do. I don't think the University of Idaho is just going to say it's my way or the highway. We're going to do whatever we want to do. I think the president of the University of Idaho is very well engaged with the enrolled students there and their families. And I think that what they're going to do is go to these four slain victims' families and say, hey, what is your input? What do you want us to do with this? So I don't think it's going to be just them making that decision on their own. ATS News, good to see you, Amber. I was just hanging out with Amber over at Law and Crime watching the Murdoch trial. But I'm out on my lunch. I just went to the post office and I'm coming back. Figured I'd throw a quick live together for you guys. But yeah, plans are right now, tentatively, is they're going to knock down that building. They're going to demo it in the next 2 weeks. This has caused an uproar with everybody about justice, and it's a good uproar. It's a rightful uproar. Like, wait a minute, what? This trial hasn't even commenced yet. How in God's name are we gonna now tear this residence down? What if the jury wants to go back there? Now the jury makes that decision while a trial commences. That jury does not sit and say, oh, before the trial starts, we want to go and look at this thing. You know what I mean? Like, not every jury says they want to go back to a crime scene, because I want to tell you from my experience, right? In the New York City Police Department, we would have a crime scene. We would break the crime scene down. Sometimes within 12 to 24 hours, that crime scene the tape would be taken off, sometimes in hours. Lieutenant Pete Pranzo, if you're still here in chat, I know you can concur with me on this. Sometimes we'd have a homicide, and after 4 or 5 hours, sometimes 6 hours, that crime scene was released back to the owners. So this business of holding crime scenes for 2 years until a trial starts, it's not a common practice. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, this is how it goes. Crime scenes get processed and released very quickly, because when you collect the evidence, when you photograph, as Ed Wallace says, we sketch, we photograph, we take video. When you have all of that documentation, there's no need to hold the crime scene. If you have taken all of the evidence from that particular crime scene, let's just say in a business, like I'll just use for an example, a fast food restaurant has a robbery or an incident where someone's murdered inside there. Do you think that they're going to hold that commercial establishment as a crime scene for months and months and months, or a year? It just doesn't happen. I mean, again, this was a property that students lived in. Yes, I get it wasn't a commercial establishment. But so, again, just take into consideration that, they get what they need, and then life moves on. And I hate to say it like that, but that is the truth, The crime scene company, crime scene cleaning, environmental cleaning, it happened already. It's done. There's nothing but walls to every room in that house. There's nothing in that location. There's no furniture, there's no belongings, there's no prop, there's nothing. It's an empty building. So nobody from a jury is going to go into that location and be like, oh, this is how it was as it was when this crime happened. It's just not. It just doesn't. It's not happening. But they have the 3D laser scanning images, which Friday night I'm going to go back over that with you guys. Right? We're going to have Luke Hall from Faro Industries. Is going to come live for a forensic Friday night, and we're going to show you. And this is not going to be for the faint of heart. If you are, sensitive to this stuff, maybe Friday night's video might not be one for you to watch, because we're going to go into a crime scene with real victims inside, and we're going to show you what juries will be able to see with a pair of VR goggles and going into a crime scene a year later, 2 years later, and how preserved the scene is, and how high definition, how defined the crime scene is when you're viewing it with virtual reality goggles. And this is commonly done. Amy Roker, thank you for becoming a bronze member. Thank you. Yeah, Friday's going to be awesome. I can't wait to present this. And again, Luke has graciously, I called him this morning and I had a conversation with Luke. Actually, he called me, but he was like, yeah, when do you want to do this? Let's do it. So this is going to give us a good demonstration of what we have to look forward to, what we have to look forward to when this trial commences. None of this information, obviously, of the 3D laser scans will be out. Nobody's going to be privy to it. But when this trial does commence, we're going to hear about it. We are going to hear about it. Pilgrim Soul, thank you for the $10 super chat. She says, and thank you for your continued service. Much love to you and yours. Love and respect right back to you, Pilgrim Soul. Thank you for your generosity. We greatly appreciate that here. All right, guys and girls, I think that we've covered enough. Hey, by a show of hands, who was watching the Murdoch trial? If you're watching the Murdoch trial, put a 1 in the chat. If you stopped watching it, put a 2. If you're watching, put a 1. If you just either watched it and stopped watching, put a 2. Let's see how many people. Angel Coleman gifted 5 DutyRon memberships. Thank you for watching this live stream in this community, and thank you for being a member and for gifting those memberships. So a lot of number 1s, a couple of number 2s. I think the number 1s are outweighing the 2s here. Here's one more thing. Blah, blah, blah says too slow. Blah, blah, blah from Boston says too darn slow. Let's get the, oh, hell no. We got the oh, hell no button. Oh, hell no. Here's another poll, and you don't have to do it in the chat if you don't want to, but hey, let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Alex Murdoch, you could either say it Alec or Alex Murdoch, do you think Mr. Murdoch is guilty of murdering his wife and his son in a very vicious way? With a shotgun and an AR-15 style weapon. If you think he's guilty, press a 1 in the chat. If you feel he's not guilty, press a 2. And if you think it's going to be a hung jury, press a 3. I'm interested in your thoughts. If you don't get a chance to put it in the chat, put it down below in the comment section. I want to just see what everyone's feeling. I think the guilties are, in all of the polls that I've been seeing, the guilties have been outweighing the not guilties. And the hung jury is like a close second to the guilties, is the way I see it. Yeah, guys, it's just, you could go either way with this thing, but I'm going to be, my vote is going to be a number 1. I'm saying guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think that the prosecution has presented their case and has presented it guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's my thoughts. I respect the number 2s. I expect the number 3s. I respect everybody's opinion. And that's what's great about this community, is that we can always agree to disagree, and we could do it respectfully. And that's what this is about. All right, guys and girls, Ed Wallace I'm in contact every day with Ed Wallace. The cell service and the Wi-Fi in India where he is not good. The Wi-Fi in India is not cooperating. When you're outside of the country, it's a crapshoot when you have Wi-Fi and so forth. So Ed, is ready, willing, and able, but he's got a lot of things going on. He's teaching a forensic class in India. He's got stuff going on, and got again personal things that are happening in his life. Everyday personal stuff, and he's training. He's doing his army training over there. So as soon as he's able to jump out and get with us, it's going to be glorious. It's going to be glorious. And if you can leave some love for Ed Wallace in the chat here, in the live chat, put hashtag Ed Wallace in the live chat. If you miss Ed Wallace, just let me know in the comments. I miss Ed. I miss him. I know all of us do miss Ed's professionalism and his knowledge. Let's shower Ed with a little bit of love. He could use it. So Ed Wallace, we're sending you strength, prayers, positive vibes, and all good stuff. We definitely all miss you and we love you. And we can't wait for you to come back home and jump right back into the saddle of the Crime Time with DutyRon family. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. You guys are awesome. Showering Ed Wallace with a lot of love in the chat. I love it. I love it. All right, guys, I got to get back into the office. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Forensic Friday with Luke Hall from Faro. Again, it's the only thing that's going to be missing is the VR goggles, because we can't do a 4K virtual reality live yet on YouTube. They don't allow it, but when they can allow it, we will definitely do it. But Friday night we're going to have some really cool, and I'm using the word cool, but there's going to be gory stuff, because you're going to see actual crime scenes from the past. And you're going to see what a jury can actually see through this technology. And it's going to be used in the Bryan Kohberger trial. Mark my words. Nothing's wrong with Ed. He's just outside the country. He's training. All right, guys. Good to see everybody. Thank you for joining. As I always like to end these, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. But especially all victims of crime across the globe. Not just here in the United States, across the globe. We send strength, prayers, and positive vibes to the surviving family and friends and communities of these victims. I'll see you guys soon. Love and respect. And remember, it's free to hit that thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up for me before you get out of this live stream. I see we got 380 people here and only 221 thumbs up. If you could, do me a favor, just hit that thumbs up. I'll see you guys soon. Love and respect.